If you have spent 40 years climbing the mountain of retirement, saving, sacrificing, and diligently investing every single month, imagine how tragic it would be to slip and fall just 10 feet from the summit. Yet, this happens every single day. I see it in my office constantly. Smart, diligent people who accumulated $1 million or more, worked hard their entire lives, but watch half of it evaporate in the first 5 years of retirement. Not because of a market crash, but because of unforced errors. Mistakes that were entirely preventable if they just had the right map. You might think you are safe because you have a nest egg, but a nest egg is fragile. One wrong tax move, one healthcare crisis, or one emotional decision during a market correction can crack it wide open. Give me the next 20 minutes, and I will walk you through the 7 deadly sins of retirement planning. These are the silent wealth killers that 90% of retirees overlook until it is too late. If you avoid these 7 traps, you don't just survive retirement, you dominate it. This isn't just about avoiding loss. It is about mastering how to plan retirement after 60 in a way that guarantees dignity, independence, and a legacy you can be proud of. My name is Bill. I am a certified financial planner and a fiduciary. I built Retirement Planning TV because I was tired of seeing good people get bad advice from salesmen disguised as advisors. I answer to the math, and I answer to you. Whether you are searching for the best retirement investments for seniors, trying to figure out how to create passive income after 60, or just want to sleep better at night knowing your spouse is protected, you have come to the right place. Today, we are going to audit your retirement plan together. By the end of this video, you will know exactly where the cracks are in your financial foundation and how to seal them before the storm hits. Before we dive into mistake number 1, here is our standard disclaimer. This content is for educational purposes only. I am a financial planner, but I am not your financial planner yet. Every situation is unique. Please consult with a licensed professional, CPA, or estate attorney before making financial decisions. Now, let's protect your money. Mistake number 1 is misunderstanding the silent thief. Most seniors are terrified of the stock market crashing. That is loud. It makes headlines. When the Dow Jones drops 1,000 points, it is on every news channel. But the thing that will likely bankrupt you is not a crash. It is safety. Many retirees panic and move everything into cash or low-interest savings accounts. They say, "Bill, I can't afford to lose money." But here is the reality. If you are sitting in cash, you are losing money safely every single day. We call this inflation risk. And learning how to protect your savings from inflation over 60 is the first skill you must master. Let's look at the math for 2025 and beyond. Even if inflation settles at 3%, which is optimistic given the current government spending levels, your purchasing power gets cut in half every 24 years. Think about that. If you retire at 60, by the time you are 84, your dollar buys 50 cents worth of groceries. You didn't lose the dollar, you lost the lifestyle. The gallon of milk costs double. The property taxes on your paid-off house act like a second mortgage that never ends. You must maintain some exposure to growth assets, stocks, or real estate to outpace inflation. This is why simply holding cash is not one of the best retirement investments for seniors. You need a bucket strategy. Keep 2 years of expenses in cash. Yes, that is your sleep well at night money. But the money you need for 10 years from now? That must be growing. Do not let the fear of volatility drive you into the arms of poverty. You need assets that have historically beaten inflation, like dividend aristocrats or real estate investment trusts. Remember, the goal isn't just to preserve the number on your statement, it's to preserve your purchasing power. Mistake number 2 is the economic outpatient care trap. This is a tough one, and it requires some tough love. I see retirees who jeopardize their own financial security to support adult children. They pay for weddings, down payments on houses, or even monthly rent for children who are fully capable of working. I know you love your kids. It is natural to want to help. But remember this rule and write it down. Your children can borrow money for a house. They can borrow money for a car. They can even borrow money for college. But you cannot borrow money for retirement. If you drain your nest egg to help them now, you will become a financial burden to them later. That is not a gift. That is a deferred tax. Imagine reaching age 85 and having to move into your daughter's spare bedroom because you paid for her wedding 20 years ago and ran out of money. That is a tragedy for both of you. The greatest gift you can give your children is your own financial independence, so they never have to worry about paying for your nursing home or medical care. Close the bank of mom and dad if it threatens your solvency. This is one of the most critical senior retirement mistakes to avoid if you want your legacy to last. Have the hard conversation now, so you don't have to have the impossible conversation later. Mistake number 3 is ignoring the tax torpedo and RMDs. Many of you have saved diligently in 401ks and IRAs. You felt good about the tax deduction when you were working. You thought you were winning. But now, the IRS is waiting. At age 73, the government forces you to take money out, whether you need it or not. These are required minimum distributions, or RMDs, and they are a ticking time bomb for many high net worth seniors. Here is the trap. If you have a large traditional IRA, these forced withdrawals can push you into a much higher tax bracket. Suddenly, you are pulling out $50,000, $60,000, or $100,000 a year that you don't need just to pay taxes on it. Worse, they can trigger IRMAA surcharges. This stands for Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amount. It means your Medicare Part B and D premiums could double or triple. It is a hidden tax on your success. And we must talk about the widow's tax penalty. This is something almost no one discusses. When one spouse passes away, the household income often stays similar, but the tax filing status changes from married filing jointly to single. This pushes the surviving spouse into a drastically higher tax bracket with the same income. It can be devastating. And with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act set to expire in 2026, tax rates are likely going up across the board. You could be forced to withdraw money at a 30% tax rate from money you saved at a 20% tax rate. The solution? You must look at Roth conversions now. While taxes are on sale, we often get asked, over 60? Here's how to maximize your Social Security and minimize your taxes. Well, this is the key. Do not sleepwalk into a tax bomb in your 70s. Call your CPA this week. Ask them specifically to run a Roth conversion projection for the next 3 years. Don't just ask for advice, ask for the math. Mistake number 4 is the Social Security break-even fallacy. I hear this all the time. Bill, I'm taking Social Security at 62 because I might die young. Or, I want to get the money back before the system fails. Listen to me very closely. Social Security is not an investment account. It is longevity insurance. It is the only income stream you have that is inflation-adjusted and guaranteed for life by the federal government. If you claim at 62, you lock in a permanent 30% reduction. If you live to 85 or 90, which is highly probable for at least one spouse today thanks to modern medicine, claiming early can cost you over $200,000 in lifetime income. Think about that. $200,000 left on the table. And if you are the higher earner, claiming early punishes your surviving spouse. This is crucial. When you die, the lower check disappears. The survivor keeps the higher check. If you took a reduced check at 62, you are leaving your widow or widower with a permanently reduced income for the rest of their life, at a time when their expenses might be going up due to age. Unless you have a terminal illness diagnosis, delay as long as possible. Treat it as a safety net, not a piggy bank. This is perhaps the single most important strategy when we talk about how to maximize your Social Security benefits. Mistake number 5 is underestimating the healthcare shock. This is the #1 reason for bankruptcy among retirees. Medicare is great. I love Medicare, but it has holes like Swiss cheese. It does not cover dental. It does not cover vision. And critically, it does not cover long-term care. Let me tell you a story about a couple. Let's call them Tom and Linda. They had $1 million saved. They felt rich. They did everything right. Then Tom developed Alzheimer's. He needed memory care for 5 years. The cost was $10,000 a month. That is $120,000 a year. Over 5 years. That is $600,000. More than half their wealth gone, just like that. Linda was left with a fraction of what they planned, facing her own retirement alone, scared and financially vulnerable. You must have a plan for this. You cannot rely on the government to pay for your nursing home unless you are destitute. Whether it is a hybrid long-term care policy, which combines life insurance with care benefits, or a segregated investment bucket specifically for health, you cannot just hope you won't get sick. Hope is not a strategy. In future episodes, we will create a specific senior guide estate planning made simple video to address this. But for today, realize that protecting your health wealth is just as important as growing it. If you have substantial assets, self-insuring might be an option, but that money must be ring-fenced. It cannot be the same money you plan to use for vacations. Mistake number 6 is failing to update your estate plan. If you don't have a plan, the state has one for you. And trust me, it is expensive and slow. It is called probate. I see families torn apart because dad died with just a will, or worse, nothing. The assets get frozen for months, sometimes years. The lawyers take 5% off the top, and the details become public record for anyone to see. A simple will is often not enough. You should look into a revocable living trust. A trust avoids probate entirely. It acts like a suitcase. While you are alive, you hold the handle. You put assets in, take them out, change the rules. But the moment you pass away or become incapacitated, you hand the handle to your successor trustee immediately. No courts, no judges, no public records. It keeps your affairs private, and it gives you control from the grave, protecting your heirs from themselves, from their creditors, or even from their future ex-spouses. Also, check your beneficiaries. This is a 5-minute task that saves years of heartache. If your ex-spouse is still listed on your 401k from 20 years ago, they get the money, even if your will says otherwise. Beneficiary designations override everything. Check them today. This is a vital part of our over 60 retirement planning checklist. Mistake number 7 is emotional investing and sequence of returns risk. The 5 years before you retire and the 5 years after are the fragile decade. If the market crashes 20% the year you retire and you are withdrawing 4% to live on, you are digging a hole you cannot climb out of. This is sequence of returns risk. It is the mathematical reality that when you lose money matters just as much as how much you lose. The mistake people make is reacting emotionally. The market drops. CNN screams panic. They get scared and they sell. They turn a temporary paper loss into a permanent real loss. You need an income floor. You need 2 to 3 years of cash and bonds that you can spend while the stock market recovers. If you know your bills are paid for the next 3 years, you won't panic when the S&P 500 drops. You can wait. Patience is a wealthy retiree's superpower. And if you are wondering how to create passive income after 60 without stress, this income floor is the answer. Here is the bottom line. Retirement is not the finish line. It is a new business, and you are the CEO of your own life. You cannot afford to be passive. The rules of the game, taxes, healthcare, and inflation are changing constantly. You have worked too hard for your money to lose it because of a paperwork error or an emotional decision. This channel, Retirement Planning TV, is built to help you navigate these waters. Whether it is mastering how to plan retirement after 60 or discovering the top 5 retirement tips for seniors, we are here for you. We are going to dive deeper into the tax torpedo and specifically how to execute a Roth conversion in our next video. You do not want to miss that because the window is closing before 2026. I have a question for you, and I want you to be honest in the comments. Which of these 7 mistakes keeps you up at night? Is it the healthcare shock? Is it the tax bomb? Or is it the fear of inflation? Let me know in the comments below. I personally read the feedback to understand what worries you the most, so I can build the solutions you need. If this video opened your eyes, please click that subscribe button. It helps us get this critical information to more seniors who need it. You have earned your retirement. Now, let's make sure you keep it. My name is Bill. Thank you for watching Retirement Planning TV. Secure your future, protect your legacy, and I will see you in the next video.